Hi, I'm Wes Allen with DM Tales, and there have been some more rumbles in recent days about the future of D&D delving into AI. And from a big corporation perspective, it makes sense. D&D the game will never make as much money as Hasbro/WotC wants to keep their shareholders happy. Their play is to make it a lifestyle brand where people can purchase all the D&D stuff they get tossed at them. The game is, well, it's useful to that end only in that it onboards some new people into buying all the extra stuff. And if that's all it is, then making it as cheap as possible to produce makes the accountants happy, which then makes the shareholders happy. The game is just a widget to push at consumers. And look, D&D as a system is fine. People love playing it, and it's got a huge community around it. With D&D, you can get advice from actual people on sites like YouTube and TikTok, see gifted players run sessions, and it's the first name people think of if you ask someone if they want to come play a role-playing game. There's a lot of selling points for D&D. But if you are looking at the idea of future content being fed to you from a bulked-up chatbot, here's some games I have both reviewed and either played or GM'd. Let's roll it. What is a D&D derived game? That's a really good question. Basically, it's a game that uses the 6 core stats from D&D, although there sometimes can be alterations. It uses the D20 plus modifier mechanic for combat and uses class level design for characters. These games will also use classic D&D concepts like armor class and hit points. Castles and Crusades, named as an homage to one of the Proving Ground groups which led to some of the concepts that eventually became D&D. It's convoluted. It's one of the oldest modern D&D derived games. It uses D&D's attributes, races, and many of its classes, so character design will feel familiar right off the bat. Add in Ascending Armor class, a fast D20-based resolution mechanic where a player's decision on their primary attributes is going to be a significant boon, and then slot-based inventory, and you end up with a game that is both familiar and fresh. Castles and Crusades also doesn't have additions, they do printings, each of which may reorganize some information, edit some paragraphs, and extend offerings a bit, but the core rules have never changed. Their biggest shift came recently when Trollord Games released their OGL-free version of the game, but the core rules remain as they always have been. It's fast and it's fun, and it carries a lot of DNA from both TSR and modern editions of D&D to create its own take. It's worth checking out. How can I describe Shadowdark? Well, this game is a lot like the popular philosophy, get rid of anything that doesn't spark joy in you. Shadowdark is D&D distilled down from a thick and heavy liquid into something light and potent. The rules are familiar. Roll a d20 and add a modifier. The classes are similar, but they're broken down to their 4 archetypes, fighter, priest, thief, and wizard, which keeps play close to its central concept. Casting is different from D&D, being neither automatic nor Vancian. Characters can cast a spell as many times as they want per day, as long as they make their casting check to do so. And the fear of a spell mishap or divine displeasure is always a real possibility when a priest or a wizard tries to cast. But my favorite thing about Shadowdark is the torch timer. Torches burn for an hour in real time. If you're a player or a GM who is agonized when a party spends 20 minutes deciding if they should knock on a door or not, the torch timer is your friend. Nothing speeds up the decision-making process like ticking potential death. Also, if you think the default 4 classes and 6 ancestries are a little bit too limited, Kelsey Dion puts out the zine Cursed Scroll with more options. Seriously, check this game out. I have had so much fun with it on both sides of the GM screen. Tales of Argosa is one of the 2 games on this list that I have played but not run. But I want to run Tales of Argosa so bad. It has taken sword and sorcery RPGs and drugged them into the current TTRPG scene. This game is class and level based with 9 character classes and 5 races, but it's also designed to be low magic and is human-centric, so it's a little bit of a change for folks coming from 5e. Tales of Argosa does use the classic roll a d20 and add a modifier mechanic for combat, but then shifts to a roll under mechanic for non-combat tests. It deviates from the classic attributes of D&D, removing wisdom and replacing it with perception, and it then adds a calculated attribute, initiative, which is used to determine battle order checks when combat happens. Combat is fast. It includes a fantastic exploit system, which encourages players to be creative as they use their character's cleverness and the terrain to their advantage. But my favorite mechanic in the game is luck, which is how characters make saves against effects and damage, among some other things. Most time, the number rolled under will be modified by an attribute, specifically its attribute modifier, like a luck dex check to avoid a dragon's breath weapon, for example. But every successful luck check reduces a character's luck value by 1. And luck doesn't replenish while a character is on an adventure, so each time the character pushes forward after escaping a tight spot, the game gets more dangerous. It is wild. Hey folks, I've got a merch store with some fun t-shirt and hoodie designs that'll share your love of TTRPGs with folks out and about in the real world. If you'd like to check out my shop where you'll find designs like this one with the DM Tales logo and channel motto, follow the link right there. What are non-D&D games? Everything else. Non-D&D games tend to break from the classic roll a d20 and add the modifier mechanic with which most folks are familiar. As such, characters tend to be built in different ways, and combat is handled much different. But by breaking the mold, non-D&D TTRPGs are free to go off in any direction they want. And they do. Savage Worlds is the second game on this list which I have played but not run, and one day I am going to fix that. It's a genre-agnostic system which got its start from the Deadlands Weird West setting, and some of the core mechanics retain language from that heritage. There are 6 stats in the game, as well as a number of skills, and each is assigned a different die type to roll. When a check is called for, that die type is rolled along with a d6 wild die, and the highest value is used. A 4 or higher is a success. A max roll is considered an ace, which allows the player to roll that die again and add the new result, acing again on another max roll. Every multiple of 4 above a first is called a raise, which improves the result accordingly. It's pretty wild. Now, there are no hit points in Savage Worlds. Instead, there are wounds. Damage is rolled to exceed a target's toughness score, and if it does, the target is shaken and can only perform free actions until it clears its head. If a character is hit a second time while shaken, they receive a wound, which will have serious impacts. Damage rolls also ace, and raises in damage rolls automatically inflict wounds. The system is a lot of fun for both combat and non-combat challenges, and there is a good amount of tactical design in the way combat encounters work for players who like that sort of thing. The core book has basic rules for a number of genres, including fantasy, but there are genre books which help expand the system into whole new worlds, literally. Dragonbane has no levels or classes, instead opting for a list of default skills to show a character's proficiencies. Each character has a profession which guides their starting abilities and equipment, as well as a number of kin from which they may choose. Each profession and kin grants a character both a heroic ability and a kin ability which helps them be a bit more versatile during play. Now, Dragonbane is a d20 system, but it's a roll-under game for all checks, using the character's skill value as the target number. Hitting something with a sword, then, isn't about how armored an opponent is, but about how skilled the character happens to be, which I love. Skills can improve over time, and when a skill hits 18, a character is awarded with yet another heroic ability. And these are wild, everything from cool dual shots to actually learning how to cast spells. Now, just keep in mind, hit points in the game are low, so negotiating before combat or running away to get to an advantageous position are wise options in Dragonbane. I find that this encourages creative solutions and roleplay. For parties that survive, that is. Cypher system, which is now named Cypher according to their new backer kick campaign, which closes at the end of today on September 26, 2025, is the game engine established by the science fantasy game Numenera, which is one of my current campaigns. And how can I describe it to you? Well, do you remember that iPad commercial from a few years back? What's a computer? Which is kind of silly. Well, it's kind of like that, but the question is, what's a modifier? Because the stat modifier combo does not exist in Numenera at all. The mechanics are dead simple. Everything in the game has a level from 0 to 10, and to get to the target number on a d20, the level is multiplied by 3. To lower the level, players may utilize training in different skills, use a tool to aid the task they are attempting, or apply some effort to whatever they're trying to do. They can also get help from other players. These actions may reduce an out-of-reach target like a level 7 lock and bring it all the way down to a level 2 or 3, which is much more attainable. It's fast and it is fun. Characters in Cypher system are a sentence. I am an adjective, noun, who, verbs, which players can use to create just about anything they want, from arcane sorcerers to superheroes to sci-fi explorers to loincloth-wielding barbarians who just want to hit things with an axe. Each character has 3 pools: might, speed, and intellect, and these are used to power a character's abilities, and though this is changing in the new edition, right now they also serve as damage pools. One more thing about Cypher. The players roll all the dice. Now this can be a big shift for the GM, especially coming from D&D, but I have found that players love having to roll for defense as well as attack. It keeps them engaged. I cannot recommend Cypher enough. It is really cool. So there's 6 games which are not D&D, 3 of which are D&D derived and 3 of which are not. And you can try them out if you'd like to escape from D&D's horrid AI bot-generated future. Really, go look at them. Now, right now I am working on my Ironbound review. It is a really fun game. I've played it several times. But next week I'd like to share some more games you might want to try out to escape the horrid AI future. So I've invited some friends to pop by and share some of their favorite games with you. And you might recognize a couple of them. Also, I think I'm going to throw one more into the mix that didn't quite fit in this video. Now, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to do the whole like, comment, share, and subscribe routine. It really helps. And a huge shout out to my coffee contributors who help support this channel out of the kindness of their own hearts. If you'd like to help supply some caffeine, the link to join the channel is right over there. Until we see each other again, folks, happy playing, everyone.